Right, it's 2 minutes past. I think we can make a start. So good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining this webinar on digital maturity. So any questions or observations from your own experiences as we run through this material, please add them to the Q&A chat, and we should have time at the end to address your questions. So I'll start by introducing Zenso and myself. So Zenso, we are implementation and development partners for IMIS, Fontiva, and Salesforce. We specialize in membership organizations, associations, and unions. We've developed a suite of apps to deliver additional services outside of standard IMIS, Fontiva, and Salesforce. And these include our flagship integration platform, CloudTools. So about me, I'm a senior CRM consultant, Daniel Hobson. I have worked in CRM implementation and improvement projects for over 20 years now. Before we dive into digital maturity, a couple of reflections on my own experience. So over the 20 years I've been managing CRM implementations, both in-house and as a consultant, there are some common themes that I've seen across these implementations. And these are that neglected CRM systems easily slide into chaos. However, the warning signs are always there if you know where to look. The rip it up and start again approach is common across organizations when things go wrong. But the current CRM technology, the CRM system, isn't always the problem. And replacing the technology in isolation won't cure the problem. So many organizations get stuck in a reactive loop with their CRM or EMS system. So they implement a new solution and move their existing processes over. They make small changes and fix any issues. But often organizations stop there. They fail to adopt new features and updates. They fix issues rather than future-proofing their system. This can lead to enthusiasm decreasing, and the software rather than adoption is blamed. Teams feel it no longer helps them achieve their business goals. So what happens? They look to invest in a new solution and the cycle starts again. So what if there was a process that broke this cycle? This is where digital maturity comes in. Digital maturity is a way of measuring how well an organization is deriving value from their CRM system. Over time, an organization should be able to evolve from a chaotic state to a predictive state. Chaotic organizations struggle to derive any real value from their systems. However, with predictive organizations, the CRM system is clearly supporting an organization's strategic goals. Okay, the diagram on this slide describes the digital maturity spectrum from chaotic to predictive. Chaotic organizations have poorly defined processes and technical improvements are often ad hoc, and it's difficult to prove any real value from your CRM. Going up the scale, defined organizations may have some processes documented and goals defined, but CRM improvements are still often reactive. Going up again, optimized organizations demonstrate proactive thinking and planning, but some of the execution could be improved, as could user adoption. Agile organizations have consistent success underpinned by a shared vision and a continuous improvement plan. And then finally, the pinnacle, predictive organizations. These are best in class. They have predictable results that are supported by smart use of business intelligence and actionable analytics. Issues can be identified and addressed before they have a significant impact on the business. So at last month's IMIS user group conference in Melbourne, which I attended, we asked attendees to complete a survey to assess their level of digital maturity. So these are the results from that survey. The results from the attendees were in blue, And the figures in red represent the results that are seen in the top 10% of high-performing organizations. The categories that you can see here on the spider chart of continuous learning, data accuracy, etc., will become clear as we run through this presentation. We'll aim to give you some ideas of how to improve in each of these areas and how to improve your overall scores. Improving your scores in each of these areas is how you can improve your overall level of digital maturity. If you'd like to take the assessment yourself, there is a QR code, and we'll show you this at the end of the presentation, and you can take the test yourself. I don't know if it's displaying on the screen at the moment, but don't worry, we'll present this later on. Okay, so these are the digital maturity components. The strategy alignment is about aligning your CRM priorities with your organizational goals. Continuous learning is how you monitor your performance to assess if changes are needed. Data accuracy, here we evaluate whether your data is clean and useful. Integrated systems, the focus here is about getting a single source of truth. Defined processes, are your processes documented? Are they clear? Are they up to date? System knowledge is all about your internal users. Are they trained in your systems and are they confident in using them? Web maturity is about your membership perception. How do they see your digital services? And then finally, we'll look at AI readiness. So we'll evaluate whether you're ready to embrace AI. Have you thought about possible use cases of AI? So to start off with, we'll talk about strategy alignment. So membership-based organizations are forged by long-term strategic purposes or missions which drive their strategic goals. The first step to getting maximum value from a CRM system is to ensure it's underpinning the achievement of these organizational goals. To do this, an organization needs a technology strategy that aligns with the organizational strategy. The technology that is being implemented is done so specifically to achieve the organizational goals. A focused technology strategy will reduce costs, prioritize projects, empower staff in the right areas, and free up resources to focus on key goals. Your CRM strategy should follow a top-down approach. So it's tempting to look at narrow areas of your system and make incremental improvements based on day-to-day user feedback. I don't like the way that this area works, or we could change this and tweak it. But really, you should be focusing on prioritizing improvements that support your strategic goals and ultimately your organizational mission. Your CRM should drive measurable results for both staff and members. A few examples of strategic goals include reducing operational costs. It could be to increase your revenue. It could be to grow your membership base or grow attendance in events. Or it could be making your systems more robust and resilient. Be critical when deciding on and prioritizing what improvements or investments should be made in your CRM technology. Strategy alignment is the first and most critical area to define in digital maturity. So these are the average results we saw in a survey we conducted in Asia Pacific. The results suggest that some organizations could make improvements in this area. So I'd like you to have a quick look at these questions and ask yourself how you'd score your organization against these statements. And a reminder again that you can take this survey, and we'll share the code at the end of the seminar. So the key takeaway, think of the mission and the vision as to the why, the purpose behind what the organization does. The strategic goals are the what, the outcomes that the organization is aiming for. The technical actions and measurements, the KPIs, are the how, the approach taken to achieve these goals and measure the achievement of them. Predictive organizations maximize their technology value by aligning their technology strategy and actions closely with their organizational goals and strategic priorities. A chaotic organization will have a lot of activity going on, but their activities are not aligned with each other or with the organization's goals. You can expect to expend a lot of energy without meaningfully benefiting the organization. Right. The next area is continuous learning. So once your strategic goals and technology actions are set, there's a need to monitor progress and assess if any tweaks need to be made. So regular strategic progress reviews are important to keep the organization on track, to make necessary adjustments and identify the next steps to ensure that strategic goals are successfully achieved. Regular reviewing processes, systems and activities is key to becoming more efficient and improving what you do. So we often start by considering what staff and members find most frustrating. For example, you can think of this in 3 steps. How do we measure member engagement? How do engagement scores vary over time or by segment or member type? What are the factors affecting engagement, and how do we address this? So let's think of an engagement-related scenario. So if you look at the diagram at the top here, our challenge is that we're seeing a decreasing number of registrations for events amongst associate members, a segment. Our ideal situation is that registration levels are in line with other member types. Then we think about our technology solution. So first of all, we measure why registrations are lower. Is it an issue with our promotion? Is it an issue with the relevance of our content? Do we need to improve our comms? Do we need to tailor or personalize our content and make registration easier? So proactive organizations continuously measure and analyze how they're currently using their CRM and what can be improved. They have an objective and actionable goals are defined, and targets are constantly adjusted based on data-informed learning. By measuring your progress and creating actions based on learning, your organization will save money and time in achieving strategic outcomes. So key takeaways are continuous learning means reviewing processes and systems regularly to see how they're progressing relative to their strategic goals. A proactive strategy approach shifts focus from reactive problem fixing to improving strategically valuable systems and processes. In predictive organizations, measures are objective, automatically reported on and actionable, as well as being regularly adjusted and improved. We'll now move on to data accuracy. So with data accuracy, we have an acronym to think about. CARES, or who cares? For an organization to get value from its data, it must ensure that it is C, clean, no duplicates. Data is spelled correctly, as an example, and it's formatted correctly. A, accurate. It's updated and as close to real time as is possible. R, regularly reviewed. Data has a tendency to become corrupt or dirty over time. E, it's easy to segment. You're able to group into patterns and view trends. And S, you're confident that you have a single source of truth for your data. We have a couple of interesting figures relating to data quality and usefulness in some relatively recent CRM market studies. So Forrester, in their report on the state of CRM, 62% of employees noted that shared systems and accessibility would help create more value for their organizations. Half of all executives struggle to manage data quality. And then a report on reporting inadequacies from the IMIS Membership Performance Benchmark Report 2025. Data silos, incomplete data, and reporting inadequacies were cited as being amongst the top challenges. There's some great insight in these reports. They're both available for free online if you'd like to delve further into these. So when analysing data, there are two common branches to consider. So firstly, there's demographic data. This type of data informs us who the member is. It's often more static in nature and may relate to where they live, what their current role is, what membership products or benefits they currently hold, or what their mailing preferences or interests are. A good strategy for keeping this data clean and accurate is to put it online in an accessible way for members to be able to regularly see and adjust if necessary. Having a 360-degree view of members is essential to help improve engagement. Then we come to behavioural data. So this measures what members do. For example, if they attend events, click on emails, or visit certain parts of the website. Behavioural data data sets are often larger in nature and require tools like engagement scoring engines, of which IMIS and Zenso and Salesforce have a number, or data snapshots to consolidate and aggregate this kind of data. And it helps to put them into useful scores and measures. Proactive organizations use their data to track against set goals and drive decision making. So a couple of key takeaways here. Data needs to be clean and easy to report on to be valuable. A CRM should provide easy to use and accurate reports of demographic and behavioral data to facilitate data informed decision making. Predictive organizations have data and reporting which are clean, concise, accurate, automated, and regularly reviewed. We're now going to move on to integrated systems and the concept of a single source of truth. There's been an explosion in best of breed third-party tools and apps to manage activities. For example, there are marketing tools to manage member communications. There are e-learning tools like Top Class, plus there are any number of ERP and finance system. It's quite often the case that a single CRM system can't provide every function that you need. Being tied to a single developer or supplier to support a bespoke integration, it can be a significant business risk. Maintaining large amounts of custom code is similarly risky. So we'd advise using solutions created from your CRM platform if possible. Having data in multiple places increases the risks of data security or privacy issues and increases integration costs. Having a single source of truth, a well-integrated set of systems, means that your data is more accurate and it gives you access to easier reporting, which in turn will give you better member insights and targeting, and ultimately better organizational agility. Data between related systems should be integrated, and you shouldn't be relying on manual data loads. Manual data loads are prone to neglect and human error. As part of your integration strategy, you need to think about security and maintenance. If you need to make changes to a process in one system, how easy is it going to be to update the integration to incorporate these process changes or new fields or field values? And a quick plug from Zenso, if you need help with your integration strategy, We at Zenso have a clicks not code integration platform as a service called Cloud Tools. We'd be happy to talk to you more about that and your wider integration strategy. So some key takeaways. Predictive organizations have a single source of truth with automated integrations to ensure they have they have access to timely, accurate information. Systems are kept up to date. This in turn ensures that data accuracy. This ensures data accuracy. It reduces data security risks and saves time on reporting. Integration platform as a service tools like Cloud Tools offer a low risk, affordable solution to integration issues. Now move on to defined processes. So defined processes ensure that staff perform tasks as expected. They improve data accuracy, they reduce errors, and they free up staff time to focus on high-value objectives. It's important to regularly review processes and documentation to ensure that they're still accurate. Documentation should be clear and easy to access. No process is perfect. Every process needs to be reviewed and improved over time as technology and environments change, and as your business changes. By starting off with clearly defined processes, it gets staff doing the same thing. And then if that process needs to be improved, it can be done across the organization. Documentation is painful and time consuming. AI can help you create polished process documents. I'm sure you're all using AI to help with creating documents, but of course, proofread it. AI tools get things wrong. Secondly, think about tools like Scribe. Scribe is great for creating step-by-step guides. And transcripts from Teams meetings or other meeting tools can be a useful starting point for creating your documentation. Again, you could potentially feed these into an AI tool to generate your documentation. Some key takeaways here. Defined processes help to set clear expectations for staff and members. Documented processes ensure staff and data consistency are easier to adhere to. Predictive organizations have all processes fully documented, they're kept up to date, and they undergo regular scheduled review for adjustment and improvement. Kind of related to defined processes are system knowledge. So think about how comfortable and competent your staff are, staff in your organization when it comes to using your system. A solid level of system knowledge across all users in your organization is critical to getting the most out of your digital tools. Making training resources accessible to users is really important. Do your users know where they can access help and training guides? Think about encouraging your staff to complete a certification and give them a training plan. Think about having an in-house CRM champion, sometimes known as a super user, someone who can take ownership of understanding the CRM system and sharing the benefits and sharing knowledge with the wider staff. Keep your users engaged and updated ahead of making any changes to your CRM system. And invest in new feature adoption. So with every software update, understand these new features, understand what's being offered and how you can adopt these and how you can empower staff to get on board with these new features and exploit them. Don't let your organization lag behind in terms of system updates and new features. So a few ideas to help with system knowledge and training. So the ASI Learning Hub is a great resource with training material available by role. So there are 800 organizations that have subscribed to the ASI Learning Hub. So I would really strongly recommend that you get on board with this. Similarly, if you're a Salesforce and Fontiva user, there are some great free resources and custom learning journeys like Trailhead, Fun.Fontiva, and the Fontiva Academy. So most other CRM providers also offer a good range of free training resources. So an example would be Microsoft Learn for Dynamics. Encourage your users to develop their system knowledge and give them the space and time to develop. Also think about drip feeding your training. It's not just about dedicating whole hours or days to training. Think about how you can drip feed users tips or tricks and snippets of information about new features. And finally, think about how you can use in-context help on page prompts, or even using help bots in your system or your internal staff. So key takeaways here. Your training resources should be readily available to all staff that are using your CRM solution. System knowledge prioritized for the whole team should be geared towards adopting new features. Predictive organizations have well-trained staff that are properly certified and use the system to its full extent. System training is part of system training and should be part of staff training plans on onboarding. Okay, now we'll move on to web maturity. Digital maturity also depends on the member experience. So of course, a website and member portal should be visually appealing. It should be easy to navigate, but also think about what a member is able to do without staff intervention. So as a few examples, how far can a member manage their membership? Can they book onto courses and events? Can they access resources? Can they work with other members in terms of online groups or forums? If you support multiple platforms, do your members have a single sign-on experience, or are they using separate logins for each app? And finally, and probably one of the most important things to think about is your new member join process. Is it simple? Are there any areas where a potential member may drop off? Is your payment process simple and transparent? Once a member is signed up, do they have immediate access to member benefits after sign up? Are you using welcome communications that outline their benefits? Are you using welcome communications that outline member benefits? And are these communications outlining how to access these member benefits? So consider the user experience of your website across all of your key areas and transactional processes. How is your data being captured? How do your complex processes work? And how accessible and searchable is your document library? Of course, you need to think about your digital ecosystem as a whole. It's not just limited to your website. So are you using mobile apps? Push notifications used responsibly are great for engagement. And then finally, think about your multi-channel communications across email, SMS, other messaging services, and of course, your website. So some key takeaways here. Predictive organizations have websites and member portals or interfaces that encourage member engagement. Predictive organizations have tailored, engaging journeys for members and customers. Products and services are easily discoverable, easy to buy and use, and there should be minimal staff intervention. The member experience is ideally seen as an extension of your single database, with all online interactions captured immediately in your single source of truth. Okay, we're now going to move on to AI maturity. The AI is fast developing, but it's a highly disruptive technology. Use and regulation of AI is likely to change considerably in the foreseeable future. So important things to consider when evaluating your AI readiness is firstly your data. So good AI always relies on good data. So we talked about understanding the quality of your data earlier on. If your data is not in a fit state, some areas of AI are probably not ready to exploit. So it's key to understand your AI data readiness. So related to data also is how are you going to keep your data safe when using AI? You don't want this exposing publicly. If you're dipping your toe into the world of AI, consider and prioritize your use cases. So identify what AI tools can be used to automate or streamline tasks. So as an example, member onboarding could be a good process to streamline with AI agents. You may want to prioritize initially based on ease of implementation and staff impact. And we'd recommend testing the water and learning before tackling anything complex. The thing with AI is this technology is still really in its infancy. Expect to fail. This technology is still emerging and we can still see some unexpected results. So implement, test, and refine. So a good use case as a first step in AI is the use of inbuilt agents or chatbots. So a number of CRM tools have off-the-shelf solutions, and these are always preferable because of the time and the cost to build something bespoke. But consider that these chatbots, even though they're off the shelf, they generally still need some form of configuration to work effectively and predictably. So think of these 3 steps to AI maturity. Firstly, build your base. Ensure that your data or documentation is AI ready. Document and understand your processes and identify where high levels of manual effort could be easily replaced by AI tools. Adding generative AI and bots. AI bots can answer members' common questions in plain language. Generative AI can draft communications accurately without having to maintain complex mail merge templates. And deploying AI agents. Actionable, personalized AI assistants can help members get information and act. Mature organizations have multiple agents across their different organizational domains, which can interact with each other. And this will give an optimized member experience. And finally, just think about creating an AI and data ethics policy. Think about including in this policy what staff can and can't use AI for, and ensure that they're not exposing sensitive data to these tools. So here are a couple of snippets from, again, some interesting market studies that refer to AI investment. And it's clearly an area that a lot of organizations are thinking about. So from IMIS's membership performance benchmark report, 34% of respondents have invested in or are planning to invest in AI. So from KPMG's AI quarterly pulse survey, 56% of respondents believe that AI will fundamentally change their business in the next year, and 67% that it will do in the next 2 years. And finally, a report from Salesforce, their trend in AI for CRM. Almost all respondents have plans to adopt AI, but don't yet have a defined strategy to do so. So some key takeaways here. Start experimenting with using AI. Look for simple opportunities to streamline and automate some of your processes, but be prepared to iterate and adapt as the technology changes. This technology is still in its infancy and it's constantly changing. Predictive organizations have AI which coordinates and completes tasks across multiple systems or business areas autonomously. But escalation when human oversight is needed is key. Okay, so that concludes this presentation. So what I would ask you to do is stop and take stock of where you are in terms of your digital maturity level and where you are on the journey. The QR code at the bottom right here, please take the opportunity now to pull out your phone and take a photo of this QR code and take this test. So this test is not a comprehensive guide, but it should give you some things to think about. It should be able to highlight some areas that you could improve in. Achieving a high level of digital maturity isn't a quick process, and it isn't something that you do once and then forget about. It's a continuous journey. Quick fixes or improvements shouldn't be your sole focus, and this is a really key point. And digital maturity is probably founded on this. Stop thinking about these quick fixes. Think about your organizational goals and which areas that your CRM and your digital maturity will help to achieve these goals. So finally, if you want to take a much deeper dive into digital success, Zento offer a service to guide you through this journey. That's the end of the presentation. If we have any questions, happy to take those now. I'm also interested in hearing about any of your experiences. So are any of you using AI with your CRM systems at the moment, or any of you exploring what you could potentially be doing with AI? Okay, no, we don't have any questions at this point, but of course, feel free to reach out to me or to Zento more widely in future. If you'd like to discuss any of these in detail, we would be happy to do so. Thank you, everybody, for your time this morning, and I hope you have a great day. Bye all.